When it comes to attracting the woman of your dreams, it doesn't begin with her, it begins with you. Most men make the mistake of putting their entire focus on women, what to say to them, how to impress them, how to win them over. But the truth is, if you aren't someone you respect, none of that will matter. You can try all the lines, you can learn all the tactics, but if deep down you don't feel like a man of value, she will sense it instantly. That's why the very first and most important step is becoming the man you'd look up to if you were standing outside of yourself. This is about building your character, strengthening your discipline, and creating a life you are proud to live. Because when you respect yourself, when you admire the man in the mirror, others naturally will too, especially women. Respect begins with accountability. Too many men waste time blaming others for where they are in life. They blame their ex, they blame their boss, they blame their parents, and they never take ownership of their own choices. But the man who attracts high quality women is the man who takes full responsibility for his life. He doesn't play the victim, he doesn't whine, he doesn't make excuses. He simply adapts, improves, and grows. That mindset alone sets you apart because it shows maturity and strength. A woman will never fully respect a man who constantly feels powerless. But when you stand tall and own both your wins and your failures, she can't help but admire you. Becoming the man you'd respect also means living with discipline. Discipline is what separates the average from the extraordinary. It's easy to sleep in, it's easy to skip the gym, it's easy to waste hours scrolling on your phone, but it takes strength to push yourself when you don't feel like it. That's what builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, whether it's finishing that workout, sticking to your goals, or saying no to distractions, you are telling yourself, I can rely on me. And that reliability radiates outward. A woman notices when a man has control over his own life. She notices when he's sharp, when he carries himself with self-respect, when he doesn't let laziness dictate his reality. That's magnetic. Another part of becoming the man you'd respect is living with purpose. Too many men wander through life aimlessly, waiting for a woman to give them meaning. But a real man creates his own meaning first. He wakes up every day with something to strive for, something bigger than himself, something that keeps him moving forward. Women are drawn to men who are on a mission because they can feel that energy, that drive, that unstoppable force. It tells them, this man is going somewhere, and if I'm with him, life will be an adventure. If your entire mission is just to get a girlfriend, you'll lose her respect fast. But if your mission is building a great life, she'll want to be part of it. Confidence is the byproduct of all these things. Accountability, discipline, and purpose. When you live this way, you don't need to fake confidence. You don't need to pretend. It's natural. You walk into a room and people feel it. You don't need to chase validation because you already validate yourself. You don't need to prove your worth to a woman because your life already speaks for itself. That's when attraction becomes effortless. She sees you're not desperate, you're not needy, you're not chasing. You're simply living at a high level. And that makes her want to be part of your world. So if you want the woman of your dreams to find you, stop asking what you need to say to her, how to get her attention, and start asking yourself this. Would I admire me? Would I respect me? Would I follow me? Because when you can honestly answer yes to those questions, you won't need to go looking for her. She'll notice you, she'll feel your presence, and she'll be drawn to the man you've become. And that's the secret. You don't attract her by trying to win her over. You attract her by becoming someone she can't help but respect. Once you've committed to becoming a man you respect, The next step is learning to cultivate genuine self-confidence, because without it, every interaction you have will feel forced, strained, or insincere. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It isn't about puffing out your chest and trying to appear better than you are. True confidence comes from knowing your worth without needing to broadcast it. It's quiet strength. It's the calm presence that says, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it tells a woman she can feel safe with you, that you are grounded, and that you are not easily shaken by life's ups and downs. Confidence is built through repetition and proof. You can't simply tell yourself, I'm confident, and expect to suddenly believe it. It comes from showing up for yourself day after day, setting small goals and achieving them, proving to yourself that you can trust your own actions. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. That's why growth in small areas matter. If you say you're going to wake up early and you do, you build confidence. If you tell yourself you're going to finish that project and you stick to it, your confidence grows. And when you consistently build that inner trust, you stop needing others to reassure you because you already know you can rely on yourself. Now, women are incredibly intuitive when it comes to confidence. They can sense when a man is trying too hard, when he's desperate for validation, when he's acting in ways that don't align with who he really is. This is why fake confidence always collapses, because eventually the truth shows through. But when your confidence is genuine, it becomes effortless. You don't need to dominate the conversation. You don't need to impress her with flashy gestures. You don't need to chase her with constant attention. Instead, you create an energy of calm certainty, and that certainty is irresistible. Confidence also shows in how you carry yourself physically. Your body language speaks before your words do. When you walk into a room, do you slouch, keep your head down and avoid eye contact, or do you stand tall, shoulders back, moving with intention? Women pick up on these details because they reveal so much about how you see yourself. A man who respects himself doesn't shrink in the presence of others. He doesn't make himself small to avoid being noticed. He takes up space unapologetically, not in an aggressive way, but in a way that communicates he belongs there. That posture, that eye contact, that way of moving, it tells her more about your confidence than anything you could ever say. And remember, confidence isn't just about how you present yourself to others, it's about how you handle challenges. Do you crumble under pressure, or do you stay calm and collected? Do you react emotionally to every setback, or do you pause, breathe, and respond with clarity? A woman feels deeply connected to a man who can remain steady when life becomes chaotic. That steadiness gives her reassurance, and reassurance breeds attraction. It's not about being perfect, it's about being grounded enough to face life head on without letting fear or insecurity take control. Pleaser. But perhaps the most important part of confidence is your ability to remain unattached to outcomes. When you're confident, you don't cling to a woman's reaction, you don't need her approval, you don't beg for her attention, you don't crumble if she doesn't respond the way you hoped. You simply show up as yourself, and if she's drawn to that, wonderful. If not, you keep moving because you know your value doesn't decrease based on anyone else's opinion. That mindset is powerful. It tells her, I am a man who chooses, not a man who chases. And women deeply respect that difference. So as you build your confidence, remember this, it's not about creating a persona. It's about aligning your actions with your values until you naturally trust yourself. It's about carrying yourself in a way that reflects self-respect. And it's about being steady enough that others feel drawn to your calm presence. Because when you radiate this kind of confidence, You don't need to force attraction, it happens naturally. Another essential rule that women deeply respect is when a man knows how to set boundaries and stick to them. Boundaries are not about being cold, controlling, or shutting people out. They are about protecting your sense of self, your energy, and your values. They communicate clearly who you are, what you stand for, and what you will or will not tolerate. A man without boundaries often falls into the trap of overgiving, bending too much just to please, or allowing others to walk all over him. At first, it might look like kindness, but over time, women lose respect for a man who cannot stand up for himself because it signals weakness rather than strength. When you create healthy boundaries, you are saying to the world, I respect myself enough to choose how I am treated. This naturally earns respect from women because they see that you are not easily manipulated. It shows that you value your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being, and that you expect others to value them too. Far too often, men mistake saying yes to everything as a way to gain approval, but in reality, constant availability and lack of standards only make them appear desperate. Women don't admire desperation, they admire men who can confidently say no when something doesn't align with their values or goals. Boundaries also set the tone for balance in a relationship. Without them, you may find yourself sacrificing too much, giving more than you receive, or losing your identity in the process of trying to keep someone else happy. But when you stand firm with your boundaries, you invite her to meet you as an equal rather than as someone who dictates the terms of the relationship. This creates respect and attraction because it proves you are not afraid of walking away if something doesn't feel right. And paradoxically, that willingness to walk away often makes a woman lean in closer. It's important to understand that boundaries are not about ultimatums or threats. They are about communicating your truth clearly and calmly. For example, if constant disrespect shows up in the way someone speaks to you, setting a boundary may look like saying, I won't continue this conversation if it becomes disrespectful. That statement doesn't come from anger or insecurity, it comes from self-respect. And women deeply admire a man who can calmly stand his ground without needing to raise his voice or lose control. Having boundaries also means protecting your goals and passions. Too many men abandon their dreams the moment they enter a relationship, believing they need to prioritize their partner above everything else. But women don't want a man who abandons himself for them. They want a man who continues to pursue his vision, because that vision is what inspires them. A man who is disciplined with his time and knows when to say, I can't tonight, I'm working on my goals, is far more attractive than one who drops everything just to be available. That discipline communicates that he has purpose, and purpose is magnetic. Another layer of boundaries comes from emotional stability. If you don't set emotional limits, you can easily get pulled into unnecessary drama, overreact to small issues, or allow someone else's moods to dictate your own. But when you have boundaries, you can stay centered, choosing not to engage in negativity or manipulative behavior. This again shows strength because it tells her you can't be swayed by games or emotional pressure. Instead, you choose peace and you expect the same in return. Ultimately, women respect men who set boundaries because it reassures them that they are dealing with someone who is mature, grounded, and strong enough to lead his own life. A man without boundaries might be fun for a short while, but he will not be trusted in the long run because trust requires consistency, clarity, and the ability to stand firm under pressure. When you establish boundaries with confidence and kindness, you invite respect, and respect is the foundation upon which attraction flourishes. And this is why setting boundaries isn't just a skill, it's a reflection of your self-respect. And women always respect men who respect themselves first. Another rule that women deeply respect is when a man lives with integrity and consistency. Integrity means your actions align with your words, your behavior reflects your values, and you stand firm even when no one is watching. Consistency means you don't just show up once or twice with charm or effort, but you maintain your character and your commitments over time. This combination of integrity and consistency builds trust, and trust is the bedrock of respect in any relationship. Without it, attraction fades, no matter how good everything else might seem. Many men make the mistake of talking big but delivering little. They promise a lot at the beginning, but when it comes time to follow through, their words dissolve. At first, a woman might give them the benefit of the doubt, but when she sees that pattern repeating, the respect begins to crumble. Women naturally pay attention to patterns more than isolated moments. They don't just listen to what you say, they watch what you do. And when your words and actions don't match, it sends a message that you cannot be relied upon. On the other hand, when you prove through consistent behavior that your words carry weight, that's when her respect and admiration grow deeper. Integrity is also about being honest, not just with others, but with yourself. A man who lies to himself or others to avoid conflict, to impress, or to manipulate situations eventually gets exposed. But a man who tells the truth with courage, even if it's uncomfortable, earns lasting respect. For example, if you're not interested in something, own it instead of pretending. If you made a mistake, admit it instead of covering it up. That honesty, although difficult in the moment, makes you trustworthy in her eyes. She knows she can rely on you because you're not afraid to face reality. And when a woman feels she can trust you, she feels safe. And safety is one of the most powerful foundations of attraction. Consistency goes hand in hand with this. Integrity might earn you respect once, but consistency proves that respect was not misplaced. Think about it. Anyone can act confident or honorable for a day, but very few men can embody it week after week, month after month, year after year. That steadiness separates boys from men. Women admire men who don't switch personalities depending on who they're with or what they want in the moment. They respect men who hold to their values in every circumstance, whether it's with friends, family, colleagues, or partners. That consistency communicates emotional strength and reliability, qualities every woman looks for in a man she can respect long term. Living with integrity also means making decisions that reflect your principles, not just your impulses. It might be easy to cut corners, to say what's convenient, or to act selfishly, but a man of character chooses differently. Women notice when you act out of integrity, even in small moments, and those small choices stack up to create a powerful impression. Something as simple as keeping your word when you said you'd call, or standing up for someone being disrespected, speaks volumes about who you are. These are the kinds of actions that earn respect in ways money, looks, or charm never could. When you lack consistency and integrity, relationships feel unstable. Women begin to question where they stand with you, whether your promises mean anything, or if they can truly count on you. And when doubt creeps in, respect begins to vanish. But when you consistently show up as a man of your word, you eliminate that doubt. You create a sense of certainty that she can lean on, a certainty that makes her feel secure and proud to be with you. Integrity and consistency are not about being perfect. No man is flawless. It's about striving to stay true to who you are and being dependable enough that she knows your character won't collapse under pressure. It's about owning up when you fall short, correcting yourself, and continuing to walk in alignment with your values. That humility combined with steadiness is what creates lasting admiration. At the end of the day, women deeply respect men who live in integrity and consistency because it proves they are strong, grounded, and trustworthy. And that respect is the deepest form of attraction. Do you want me to now prepare the SEO friendly description with timestamps, hashtags, keywords, and tags for this new speech too?